a simple layman, why would a crypto exchange after a hack would hold on to people's funds? Can you explain that? What could be the reasons, potential reasons? Ideally, it should be given. We have seen it earlier in the scenario. Because the
So
only
first, as a business owner, I think he wants to continue. He wants to find a way, right, to write off customers' assets and still continue it as a business, because say at some point in time it was valued at $1 billion, probably, right? And now it's almost close to zero. If he cannot continue running WazirX as a centralized exchange, right, the value is close to zero. And there is also a dispute between Binance and WazirX. I'm not sure what is the title of the dispute, where it's going to end in, right? But probably there is something that favorable that can happen to the management team from that dispute, right? So there are multiple things, right? And the WazirX was like in the top 2 in terms of market share. They had a really sweet spot. So give that all up, and basically, if you look at the overall communications, every time Nischal has said there is no point of liquidating the company. They don't want to shut down WazirX, right? That is something that, so even when they said about this scheme, moratorium and all those things, they didn't talk about company liquidation. They are trying to find a way for the company to survive even after customer assets are lost, right? And the most important problem is they are also not pulling in their own funds, right? They have made a lot of profits. The Singapore entity has made a lot of profits, right? Those details are yet to be disclosed, right? But if customers are basically socializing losses only among customers, that is also a big pain point that we had pointed out back in July. So there are multiple issues with this whole thing. But I would say he has acted very selfishly. That is the whole point.
oh, which goes by a lot of people and bloggers who kind of saying the same thing, that because people have questioned him that what is his share of profits, which he's contributing to people's money. That's what people are saying.
They have already sold some of the assets of WazirX back in 2019 to Binance, right? So they have definitely made a lot of money from this, right? But when users are at a loss, at least I'm not saying 100%, even 10% contribution from the promoters, right, of the overall loss amount would make customers feel at least a little bit of happiness, right? It cannot be that only customers, because customers made no mistake here, right? It is some level of carelessness, some level of, I would not even say this did not happen with anyone's intention, right? No one in WazirX wanted for it to get hacked, but clearly the management struggles, like who is the owner and all those things, would have made the execution of the operations pretty slow, right? All this could have caused, right? But end of the day, if you are to blame, you could only blame the management. You cannot blame the customers, right? But if you look at the losses, only customers are bearing the losses and not the management. That is not fair.